Hi, how you doing? Are you ready for another magical time? Another fun time and wonderful memory of the wonderful world of the spiral time. Hello, how you doing? Okay, so this is a fun episode. So, one of the main things the main thing I'm trying to do on this non-monetized channel is is introduce the word Yan Sui as an option. It's the label of no label that isn't atheism, but it's almost the same thing, except you're technically a theist, not an atheist. So it's really different, but just to kind of present, not to give too much of myself, but just enough that a person can take it from there and personalize it and make their own language of the whole thing. The system of making things a language and corresponding things, like deciding that something that needs to happen and then corresponding your magical link to that thing, that behavior and that program is called the Qabalah, in this case with a Q. We're witches, not Jews. The Jews started it, the Jewish mystics, and so it's with a K. But since modern witchcraft, which is largely based on organizing through the Qabalah, is very it's the tarot deck is the same thing as the Qabalah. It's all the same thing. Astrology. That system is the bigger picture of the whole system itself, and the organization of it into your own witchcraft is the Qabalah. I've got a playlist. I'll leave a link in the description box, but I've got a playlist about the Qabalah. It's the most important thing I have to say is that the tarot deck, modern organized religion's out of date. It's out of date nowadays. That's important that we realize that, especially with Christian nationalism threatening our country and stuff. Out of date. And so is the idea that God's a man in the sky and that there's a book, that's scripture, that could be the word of this imaginary man in the sky. It's proven to be a book of mostly fables, mostly fiction, based on little bits of truth. But to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, in my opinion, is largely to realize that what the true meaning of the Tetragrammaton is, the Yahweh, the deity, is fire, water, air, and earth. It's a link within, and God never was really a man in the sky. That was a political power stunt. They put that there, and then they made a book so that they could tell you how to live, and that's why they're so worried about the LGBT matters, because each new baby is an asset, and they need to begin brainwashing them right away. And so it's, that's why you still hear this on the left. People that they're holding on to little things from the right that needs to be updated, like the belief that a person's worthless if they're not giving to the whole. Some people can't give much, and the only thing they can give is their friendship. I spent a lot of my life alone and stuff like that. If a person they can't vote because they're a woman that changed their last name, or they can't, or something like that, it doesn't make them worthless. They can be your friend and they can love you, and stuff like that. There's so many things and things that need to be updated so that everybody counts and has a value and stuff like that. So that's ego, that's that type of separation. So as part of our updating and our modernization of such things, we need to think of these things. But the key thing with the Qabalah in your efforts to correspond things and make your own personalized working Qabalah is that we start, number one, the top of the tree of life. Number one, the Keter, is the crown. It's the crown chakra, and it's the light bulb above the head, the beginning of the idea. So my last episode, I was introducing my claymation characters, Raj and Ange, and I established, and I was all proud that I established that they would be hiking down a trail, and I have the background pictures of hiking down the trail, and so each episode they'll meet every Thursday and go on a hike. But on this episode, I'm introducing some more characters, and it isn't going to happen on a trail. So you can see the evolution going from number one to number two. The very next episode, it's already pretty different, but It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have scenes on the trail. It doesn't mean I'm not going to mostly have scenes on the trail. I'm not know what I'm going to do, but now I have some new characters and some new things I've added from some stuff you might recognize if you listen to my work. It's because your art is your religion. The modernization is that your art, and in my case, my music and my claymation and my YouTube channel and my stories. I hope to publish a book that's basically ready to go, but I just need to publish it type thing. Fiction. You know, I'm into fiction, and I'm like Jim Henson and J.R.R. Tolkien are my big heroes, you know. And that's the history of the shamans of my people, the druids and the ladies of Avalon. They didn't write things down in a book and believe those things. They believed in you know, fairy tales. You know, the idea of fairy tales. Fairy tales. You know, teaching the children with stories was the original idea. The original religion was getting stoned and playing the drums around the campfire and teaching kids stories to fictional stories to teach them things, and you know, and such things. That's why God really is a metaphoricotype, an archetype and a metaphor at the same time, a metaphoricotype. And so this episode's a good thing. Let's see how Raj and Ange and Under the Witch's Moon, how it evolves and some new characters introduced, and at the same time, the moral of the story is what you can see how an idea is begun and then it goes. But if I change my idea, I don't want those characters anymore. In on number 3 or step number 4, 5, 6 episodes down the line, I decide I don't want those things anymore. Number 1, it will remain the root thing, that there's a character Raj and Ange and it's a cat and a horse, and you know, some of those root things at number 1. So number 1 has that secure place that it's the beam, the original idea. See. So you're introducing new ideas, and sometimes you go back and you change those ideas, but you don't go all the way back to 1, you know, and such things. And then there's the meaning of number 0 and on and on. It gets deep, but are you guys ready for another magical episode of Under the Witch's Moon?
So hey, Ange, is there anything going on tonight?
Yeah, why don't we, my great grandma's here, Rose. She's in the backyard now and gonna tell a story. Why don't you come over? Dusk. Deep in the forest in 1975. A storm comes upon a mountain where a black bear munches a few more roots from the ground. Suddenly, the few drops of rain turn into a rainstorm, and boom, lightning strikes the bear. As suddenly as the storm came upon her, it turned away, followed by sunshine the rest of the day. She survived, but she would never be the same again. She had become human for a time, a human reborn named Mary, would-be mother of Yahushua, and much later she shape-shifted back into a black bear, our all-mother, Yaduba, in 34 AD. But that's another extra-biblical tale to be told another day. That being said, for the sake of this tale being told, she, many years later, as her human, jumped a ship to the Americas, where she lives till this day as the black bear named Yaduba. Or she can also be seen in the sky at night as Ursa Major, because she's within our cosmic connection within to the love, the one love that's the collective, the sum, spirit of the universe's creative queen, Yaduba, roaming American forests, even today and forever, Yaduba. In 1976, another human named Angie shapeshifted into a wolf or sometimes a deer. So she also changed her name to Yan Sui. A wolf, looking up at the moon at night, howling, stops and begins to pray. Oh, Yadoba. Oh, Yadoba. Looking up at Ursa Major one more time. Oh, Yadoba. Yadoba. And she looks over her shoulder, and a black bear was watching the whole time. And it ran off into the night forest. And going back down the hill, the wolf travels on and on. Just as she walks past the last portal from the forest back into the city, she shapeshifts back into a human, a woman named Jackie. Looking up at Ursa Major, Jackie prays to Yaduba. Oh, Yaduba! And it was seen in her lovemaking with her partner and her music. And Jackie has a pet, a wild cat named Angie, and she has a horse named Raj. With the witchcraft, Jackie has the three of them into a coven. Jackie's great-grandma Rose of Salem, who originally taught Jackie of Yaduba in the sky at night, and her prayer, named the coven Under the Witch's Moon. So Raj and Angie are more than friends. They are Kabbalists, aficionados of the tarot. How you doing? Yes, just walking down the road. Hot summer day. It's been pretty hot summer. I like it. It's fun. So yeah. So in Under the Witch's Moon, it was under a lot of it was about a lot of it. There was a lot of shape shifting that was going on, you know? So kind of like a big thing, a takeaway from the whole episode is that in life, kind of like a snake changing, you know, shedding its skin. In life we change and evolve, you know, especially in these times where we're trying to figure out how to all fit into modernity. There are billions of us, but there's in a system that works, everybody should be fed and stuff. I think, you know, I'm pacing back and forth because look, it's the only like little patch of shade in the area. So anyway, yeah, so kind of like a butterfly in a cocoon, you know. It's one of those moments, you know, and there's just a lot of growth and adapting and new life, and hopefully it all works out to mean something good, you know. And it's a lot like going from number one Keter down, working your way down in the tree of life in the Qabalah, you know, down the Sephiroth, you know, in your you know, tools to create things, in your efforts to create things as a creator. We're all creators, we create things, you know. And the reason that's a thing is because we're humans, you know, our brains are our outstanding thing. We're smart, and nowadays there's a million billion of us, you know. So if we can just put these things together so that we're one with the earth and one with the situation enough. But yeah, I better get heading back down the trail. But yeah, beautiful episode. We all connect within. It's the one love.